again for a new week of Live Dogs. Obviously, I am your host, Nick Mazone. I'm hoping to have another good week this one. We're coming off a good week of last week. Our Thursday picks went 2-2 for plus 0.41 units. Then obviously we had the game I gave out earlier in the week was Packers at plus 160, who obviously won the game last night. So all in all for the week, 10-5 on the picks this week for plus 7.57 units. The best week we've had on the show. Yeah, if you just blindly tailed, you went up over 7.5 units, and that puts our total for the past 5 weeks plus 17.28 units. Obviously, no complaints there, especially when you're betting strictly underdogs, trying to beat the book. So we're on a little bit of a run here. Hopefully we can build on it this week. I'll get straight into a pick for today. I should probably start by saying this is the only game out there today. No NBA, no MLB. So it's just Monday Night Football. It's Chiefs versus the Ravens. I would say probably the two best teams in the league playing each other. And I don't know, you can get the Chiefs at plus 150 versus these guys. I should probably start off by saying I do think that the Ravens will probably win this game. But just the chance to get Mahomes and Edwards-Helaire and Tyreek Hill and these guys at plus 150, it's something that you're not going to get the chance to do probably the rest of the season. So I just think this is too good of a price to pass up on when you're getting the reigning MVP, or not the reigning MVP, the reigning Super Bowl MVP is going up against the MVP. But I just think it's plus 150 is too good to pass up on. Obviously, I could go on and on about stats about how good Mahomes is and how good the Ravens are, but I mean it's something that you guys wouldn't already know. I think that these are widely considered the two best teams in the league, regardless of which way you lean. That's up to you, but I mean this is a pick that I'm going strictly based on the fact that worst case scenario, you have the second best team in the league and you can get them at plus 150. And obviously in a game like this, I think anything can happen. One thing I will say is I have seen Chiefs plus 3 at plus 100, so at even money. If you feel more comfortable with that, totally understand it. If you want to lay off, obviously understand as well. I just think they're good value prices. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, but we've seen, especially in the last 2 weeks, lines where I just think there's a lot of value on it, even if I'm not 100% confident that they're going to win the game. It seemed to have been working out, so I just think it's a value pick. It's worth a play, and I mean it's just a good price. So that's the pick for today. And like I said, this is the only game playing today, but I didn't want to just bore you guys with a 3-minute show. So what we're gonna do here is. Because I could give out MLB picks, but I can also do that tomorrow, which I will be doing. So we're going to do something a little bit different. It's a look-ahead spot, or a bunch of look-ahead picks for this weekend in college football. Haven't done any of that. Obviously, there's a lot of teams getting back into it soon, and we're going to do some college football picks. So the first one it's a super dog. It's NC State at plus 525 versus Pitt. I should probably just say straight up, I am without a doubt 100% biased in this pick. I graduated from Penn State. Naturally, I hate Pitt. It doesn't make it any better when I saw Pitt beat Penn State back in 2016 and ultimately be the reason why Penn State didn't make the college football playoff. Penn State should have made it anyway. It was ridiculous. They put in Ohio State over Penn State when Penn State beat Ohio State and won the conference. Ohio State didn't even win the division, but I could go on and on about that. But regardless, I just wanted to say I am a little bit biased here, but I also do think that the line shouldn't be this big. Pitt's 14-point favorites. If you look at Pitt's schedule so far this year, they beat Syracuse by 11, who in my opinion is not that good. Syracuse started off 0-2. Then they go on to beat Louisville by 3 points. Did not cover the spread in that game. Despite Louisville's quarterback going 9 for 21 passing and throwing 3 picks, they were only able to win that game by 3. And they put up 21 and 23 points in those 2 games. I just don't think it's going to be enough to overpower NC State, as they've shown that they have a really good offense. NC State beat Wake Forest 45-42 in the first game. They recently did get blown out by Virginia Tech, which I think is the reason why this line's like this. But I think that Virginia Tech is a very good football team. So I think this kind of just goes to, should Pitt be favored in this game? Probably. Should NC State be coming back at plus 525? I think absolutely not. I think it's a lot closer. I think it's probably a one-score game, if you ask me. So obviously the safer play would be do NC State plus 14. But we're taking a huge risk here, going for it on the money line. I mean, and also one thing that I also should note is that NC State's game last week was canceled. They're supposed to play Notre Dame, and obviously with everything going on, that game got postponed. So, I mean, an extra week of prep, I mean, it could help out. So, I mean, it's just a bunch of little things here that I think point in the direction of NC State keeping this one competitive and hopefully can win it. And another one, a more realistic pick probably, is SMU plus 110 versus Memphis. I think plus 110 is a pretty good pick here. SMU's 3-0 this season already. They did only beat teams like Texas State, and then they blew out North Texas and SF Austin. So don't get me wrong, have not been tested yet, but they did hang 115 points in their last 2 games combined. So the offense has a lot of power behind it, and probably the biggest reason why is Shane Buechele. He's having a very good year. You guys might remember him. He was recruited to go to Texas. Was the second true freshman quarterback to ever start a game for Texas at quarterback. After injuries, lost his job to Sam Ehlinger, who's there right now. And now he's at SMU. This is his second year. And he already has 852 yards, 7 touchdowns to 2 picks this year. He's doing good. Obviously, he has the talent. He was a true freshman starter at one of the biggest schools in the country. And yeah, so I mean, at SMU, I like their offense a lot. They probably have the best player on the field every time that Buechele's out there. And meanwhile, Memphis, 1-0 this year, only played 1 game. It was a 13-point win over Arkansas State. And I get it, Arkansas State has beaten Kansas State, who just beat Oklahoma. But, I mean, that might be a little bit of a reach if you ask me. But let's be real, Arkansas State, nothing special. I would have liked to see Memphis win by a little bit more than 2 scores, but that's just me. I'm just really not impressed with Memphis too much, while I think that SMU has the offensive firepower to put up a number that Memphis just can't compete with. So I like SMU at plus 110 a lot. Hopefully they pull that one out. And then for the final pick of the show for college football, it's going to be Texas Tech plus 135 versus Kansas State. I think there's a lot of recency bias in this line. Obviously, Kansas State just beat Oklahoma, but I think most people would argue that Oklahoma beat themselves more than Kansas State won. Somehow Oklahoma let up 24 unanswered to lose that game. I mean, like I mentioned, Kansas State did beat Arkansas State, but, I mean, let's be real. They were getting dominated by Oklahoma for 45 minutes of that game. Really had no business winning it. Meanwhile, Texas Tech, they beat Houston Baptist by 2. Doesn't look good, but when you really take a deeper look into it, the game wasn't as close as the score shows. And then recently, they just blew the game against Texas, where they lost in OT. You might remember that. Somehow they let up 14 points in the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that game to allow the game to get to overtime. And then Texas was able to win that game in overtime. But Texas Tech was the better team for 57 minutes of that game. I mean, and that's against a good team in Texas. So, and this was more of something where I actually would say that Texas deserved to win that game despite what happened. You can call it whatever you want, but Texas showed up late. But I still think that Texas Tech, I mean, winning up until that point is a good confidence booster in my opinion. I think that Texas Tech's got the better air raid offense. I think they can run the ball better. They probably do have a worse defense, I will say that. But let's be real, it's the Big 12. Offense wins games in this conference, not defense. So I think Texas Tech plus 135 has a lot of value in my opinion. Um, but yeah, so those are my picks. Obviously, only one pick today that you can actually play and see play out tonight. Um, I'll just give it a quick run back. Chiefs at plus 150 tonight. I just think it's a value that you can't pass up on because you're not going to get the Chiefs at plus 150 any other time this year. Obviously, unless a guy like Mahomes gets injured or something, which obviously we don't want to see. But that's the pick for tonight. And then the look ahead spots for college football this weekend. NC State plus 525 as a super dog. SMU plus 110, and Texas Tech at plus 135. I think those are some good picks. Definitely all have some value. I will say, probably not news to you guys, but the safer way to play it would just to be to take the points, especially in that, especially in the NC State game. I think plus 14 might be like the best bet of the week in my opinion, but I think it's worth a little sprinkle at plus 525. So yeah, I mean, I like these picks. I'm hoping to make the most of something where we only had one game to choose from today. Obviously, like I said, with no NBA or MLB, but we're back tomorrow with some playoffs in the MLB, and obviously we're getting into the NBA Finals with the Lakers and the Heat. So. Should make for an exciting week. Maybe just not today, but I mean, we still do get the two best teams in football playing each other, so no real reason to complain. Yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m., with some picks for you guys in the MLB. So hopefully I'll see you guys then. Good luck with any picks, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.